Hello, hello. How's it going? Um, my mic monitoring is not working again. Why? Whatever. I closed it. It's fine. We'll make do. Yeah, it's coming through at least. So whatever. Computer things. Little bit ish. Little bit ish different thing that we're doing today. We are. I just realized my title is like borked. um, did it just like cut it off? Personal sites. That's what we're doing today. But in specific, my personal site. Oh, no. I just read it wrong. We're looking at upgrading Astro in my personal site. So there's a little bit of context here that connects what we've been doing and what we potentially might be doing. The past couple streams, 2, 3 streams, we've been looking at a project called Cooklang, and then some crates sort of like to enhance it. We looked at last week. We looked at Specta RS, and that is a crate that is also used in the context of Tori, which helps you to from Rust generate TypeScript, or at least TypeScript types. And the reason that we were looking at that in Cooklang was the new or updated Cooklang parser is written in Rust. We can then compile that into WASM and use it in the context of TypeScript or JavaScript. And the reason I was looking at Cooklang was because for years now, I mean, I've had a personal site for a long time. It didn't land on there immediately, but it was one of the like first bigger pieces or bigger implementations outside of just like being able to put writing on there. And that is putting like recipes, as in like I make food to eat and I put those into recipes so I can remember how to do them. Not programming recipes. I feel like I always need to clarify that. And I've over the years held that in a couple different forms. The most recent one has probably been the most longstanding, and that has been I've put it in Airtable table, I guess. And then I do a little effort to like pull it out into a form that I could then include in my personal site. And actually, speaking of that, we might need to grab some API keys. I'll put a pin in that because when we start pulling that up, the personal site, and we want to run it, I might need some API keys. But we'll get to that. So I want to look at updating Astro in my personal site because I currently have recipes in Airtable being pulled into my Astro site. I think long term it would be convenient, nice, etc., to put those recipes in Cooklang. I'll still potentially need a way for my spouse to and potentially other relatives to look at this. And I don't know that I want to point them necessarily to my personal site. But I'm mostly the one that's writing and maintaining it. So I'm comfortable having them in the syntax that only I would end up touching. Part of the reason I put it in Airtable was it's a little bit more what's the word I'm looking for? approachable, I guess. I kind of expected my spouse to be able to use the Airtable app and look at it that way, but honestly, she's just been fine looking at the like site version of it. It doesn't actually edit it; just sends me recipes that she finds, and then I add them when I remember to, which lately hasn't been often. So, all of that being said, I think it would one, Cooklang is in place where it has the whole updated parser, and then we've got a workflow going there to keep that up to date with the JavaScript or TypeScript implementation up to date with the Rust parser. Then I'll probably start to move stuff over. That will probably happen in the context of an Astro plugin. Which means if we're writing a new Astro plugin, we'll probably just write it for the current major, which I believe is V5. I think I'm on like V3 or something. So a little bit of like a chill day where we kind of just plug through stuff and upgrade it, and we can chit chat. So if you have any questions around Astro or what I've done in Astro, or just other topics that we've touched on, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll digress and jump into those. But to also connect this to potential like future streams, other related work, Tori is also on Astro for its stock site, and I suspect we could probably do something similar there. It's, I don't think, quite as outdated as my personal site, but it might be worth giving it a little bit of attention at this point. At least as far as like the structure goes, and that might lead us like into generic. Let's look at Tori, the various issues, potentially do some of that like project management type stuff on stream. We'll see. Some of that work is I just realized, I flipped over here. I thought it was on the other screen. It's fine. Some of that work is useful to do, but might not be interesting from this is quasi entertainment point of view. But we'll see. We'll think about it. So we still have some stuff up from last week. I guess I can pull this up since we're already looking at it. We want to we'll take a peek at existing site. Pull up and run the site locally. Start upgrading Astro. I think that's mostly what we're going to go through today, and we'll see how that goes. If I got to do a couple majors, we'll see how well that happens. And also didn't show up in the chat. I don't think I had it open early enough, but hey Joe, good to see you. So this is kind of what we're looking at. This, like, overall, this is my personal site, and that's odd. Interesting. Oh, weird. Apparently I have some like weird routing thing going on. We'll have to pay attention to that. I've got articles. Some of this stuff probably could use a little bit of attention. But like all things, like I don't even have I'm very rarely on Twitter at this point anymore. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter because I'm mostly in Blue Sky, and I don't even have that up here. So I could definitely show overall this some love. Part of the reason I haven't given it like specific attention is in part because I set up this idea of like a well, that's weird. This tag is kind of goofy. I've set up this idea of like a garden or like this thing is in progress. And the reason I did that was because I take notes in Obsidian. I'm not the best at it. Like it's definitely not a strong suit, as it were. But there's enough of a obstacle to this article is ready and I should put it on the site. So like getting an article to like that last like 20%, getting it completed, polished, finished up, and publishing it was just such an obstacle that I never actually wrote anything and pushed anything up. So the fact that I can just like write something in a note and it just shows up on the site is kind of handy. Hey, Nicola, good to see you. Okay, it is working. So most of my updates have actually come through that, and it's still not great. Like there's content on here, but also I need to put more on here. Some of that is potentially in the form of like we do videos every week. I could represent that here, which I mean, I've got the YouTube link, but I don't know that I make that obvious here, which would be nice. Either way, we are going to look at upgrading Astro and in specific to potentially support Cooklang on this page. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So let's go ahead and cross this off and let's pull up the site, I guess. Honestly, I don't even know if I have it cloned here. Yeah, I haven't even cloned it on this computer. So like it's been a while for it's been a while since I even like touched it on that's annoying. Still, I'm not actually signed in on this browser, which is fine, but also and I got a lot of stuff listed as MDX. Honestly, I could probably update Astro. I could probably switch those off of MDX. I don't know that I'm actually using the features of MDX anymore, and it is. I think I'm at a point where I don't want to bother supporting MDX on this site, at least. We'll come to that though. So I guess let's clone it. I haven't actually like touched updating the site structure, as it were, for some time. There is static content here. So these pieces haven't been touched in a while because all of the updates that I've pushed or that show up on the site right now are coming through my Obsidian notes. So let's do a git clone and you. So we're definitely gonna have to do potentially something with the API keys. We'll have to look at that when we get there, but I guess let's open up VS Code. That's not the button I wanted. I want to do this. All right. What do we got in here? We are still on Volta. We're going to actually do Volta pin node at I think 24 just came out. Honestly, we're not running anything. It's a statically generated site. So just the fact that it is statically generated makes me feel okay about using a new version of Node. Sometimes I would shy away from it if we're potentially dependent on that version of Node in some way, or we're actually like hosting a service through Node. Volt pin npm. I think it's at 11. Yeah. I think I'm okay doing this because if it doesn't, like it, if it fails to rebuild, then I just don't get an updated whatever on my site. The whole site doesn't go down, and it's fine. This will work fine. Okay. And we are using npm, so I'll do an npm install, and then we can I guess we'll look at the migrations. Let's go to close all this, and let's look at that's still, yeah, a lot of vulnerabilities. Okay, sure. Well, I guess we got to run it locally. Let's do that. Let's run it locally. I don't know what I need as far as environment variables. So Astro, this is basically like a Vite config. It is pulling in React MDX sitemap tailwind. Did you know that you can compress your website with Playform Compress? Nice, Nicola. I mean, honestly, that's probably a thing that I need to think about. The potentially the big thing would be because this is statically built, and the way Astro ends up working is unless you specifically opt into client side, you get like base HTML. So if you could just go to a specific page or whatever on this site, like if you go to one of the articles, this is HTML. There's no JavaScript even hydrated, other than I think the color switcher down here. The rest is HTML and CSS, no JavaScript. So I honestly don't know how much minification could happen there. It is using Tailwind, so TBD on like what that looks like. But I'm using it through an Astro Tailwind plugin, so I assume they're doing some of that automatically for me already. Probably the biggest piece is pictures. Like I've manually fixed this one. Some of the routing seems goofed up on it, but yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. What would be here? This one's got pictures in it. These, I don't know that I'm doing anything with these. I don't even know where my images are, to be honest. Articles. What is that one called? Oh, and this is actually an interesting thing too, because this is oh no, that's not this should actually be uploaded and static. What is GitHub Actions repository dispatch event? Repo dispatch. Here we go. Okay, so like I literally just have PNGs in here. Honestly, that probably would be the first thing that I would look at. Whoop, open you back up. Is the pictures. I don't know that they are. This probably is the bulk of the site weight. But all the other stuff, I don't think there's actually too much that's downloading. Like if we do empty cache and reload, we got I mean, whatever this client is, that might just be like React, honestly, because of that one use client, which is a little bit annoying, but the rest is all pretty small. And my CSS is only 4 kilobytes. Nice. Yeah, the Lightning CSS is really neat. We did that on stream a little bit ago. And was that last year that we did it? I guess it was last year that we were looking at Lightning CSS, but it has since landed as an experimental feature in Vite too. So it's cool to see it sort of like get wider support or use outside of just parcel, which it was kind of originally wrote in tandem with or intended for. I mean, I guess intended for is maybe a bit of a misnomer. The is it Devon? I think their name is Devon. They wrote Lightning CSS with the intent to use it in Parcel.js, but also they wrote it as a separate enough piece where it would plug into Parcel.js, but it was separate enough that any of these other like bundlers or whatever could pull it in. So it was like built to potentially support the ecosystem, which is really neat from their point of view, because they could have wrote it to only work or wrote it directly within Parcel, so that only Parcel benefits. But it, like, in some ways, like Vite or some of these other things are competition to the other work that they're doing. So the fact that they like wrote it so anybody could pull it in is neat. All right, let's figure out what do I need to run this. I don't even remember site file cache. Okay, so I do some like cheap caching, and I do need an Airtable API key. Okay, and honestly, I don't even know if that Airtable API key works anymore, because I know they've like updated their stuff. And then what do we got here? We have okay, article fetch endpoint. Yep. Okay, so we need some environment variables. That might be a little interesting. Okay. Well, we'll figure that out. I mean, we can try doing a npm dev. Oh, npm run dev. And I'm presuming we're gonna get those errors. New version of Node, so I get the Windows dealio. Okay. Yep. And I am specifically throwing an error because I wanted to remind myself that that was a thing. All right, how can I... I gotta remember where the heck I put this. I'm gonna switch to... I guess let me open up a new window first. Sure. Can I just do this on the side here? Oh, there's like a new .config or something, isn't there? I don't think I put it in my config. Echo. Where the heck did I put this? This might make sense as like in a .env file. For like what I'm using it for. I think we go that route. Do I have a get ignore open for or setup for this? So if I do like a .env .local wow, come on hands. And if I do like an Airtable API key, Airtable API key equals thing. Now this is not going to work for certain. We know that. .env.local. Like it's going to fail, but the fact that I have it set might be enough. Okay. So there is definitely some level of okay. So I'm using process.env to pull it in. I don't. Okay. I think we do want to use the .env.local. That's probably going to be the most convenient. Because if I pull this up on stream again, then I don't have to think about it. Test nr dev. And then we still need the other one too. Yeah. Those are Airtable API errors. Yeah. Okay. I honestly, I might end up just pulling Airtable out completely from this project. Maybe not at the moment. In part because like I'm on the latest, but they haven't touched it for a year. I don't know. I just feel like their support for the JavaScript project is like it's not high on their list to support it well. Is the vibe I'm getting. Which in which case I think I've got other options that we can pursue. In part, there's sort of two pieces I think that we have integrated here. So we have the Astro.js plugin, Party Town. Apparently, I copied this from somewhere and then just never fixed the string. That's kind of funny. Okay, so I've got a source, draft articles, recipes, curated, and uses. The curated is Airtable. Uses is from Airtable, and recipes is from Airtable. So if I would completely remove Airtable, I'm gonna have to basically remove 3 places where I'm using content from there, and they're coming from different base IDs too. So the base ID for curated and uses is the same. So I have like one table for those pieces, and then I have a separate table for the recipes. So like I can, if we would rip out Airtable from here, we would end up needing to solve for the uses and the curated, because the recipes is eventually gonna, I have an expectation that eventually it's going to Cooklang. So like naturally this will end up being removed or migrated. It would maybe be the better way to say it. But then I still have curated and uses in place here, so I would have to deal with that potentially separately. In either way, we end up getting a prefetch content. So prefetch content is just listed in the integrations here, and that pulls in the content from those two sources as a, like in the config setup. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm pulling this and literally just writing it out, which in the version of Astro that I have worked fine enough. I think they've done more with the contact collections since. Where is my Astro here? So we potentially can change or improve this and maybe change how we load and pull the content. Like we might be able to skip the write to or at least manually write to the file system step. I have some expectation that if we have like a loader or something that is sourcing content, I might, if a thing exists that is doing this, I'm guessing they cache it as well. All right. So keys. I'm not going to be able to do the env.local thing right now because that doesn't seem to actually load with the way that I have things set up here, which is a little annoying. So I guess what I can do is, okay, I got to find a key. We're going to switch. Are we still in like running it? I guess running is the current step, right? Yeah. I'm going to switch to here. And we're going to see if we can grab that key. I got to figure out where the heck I put it. So I think, yeah. We can, like I said, there's the two pieces that we're dealing with here. There is the yeah. So we're fetching the content from two places right now. We're fetching it from Airtable, and we are fetching it from Obsidian in a very janky way. I don't know that there's a better way to do the Obsidian integration, so that might end up just sticking around for a little bit here. I think that Obsidian or the Airtable integration though can be migrated because it I mean it works, I guess. I don't know. Astro first. Let's upgrade Astro. Airtable. Let's see. Where did I steal this? Okay, so I've got some. Astro is the best Astro. So I've got one Airtable API key, but I've got 2 tokens, it looks like. curious. I wonder if like the version that I have on GitHub doesn't even work anymore to grab the I mean, all right. Well, we're gonna go for it. Let's do some of this, and we'll do some of this and that, and whoop. Different new shell contexts or syntax rather. Nope. I don't remember the syntax. I keep saying context. I don't remember the syntax for okay. Is it env dot? Yeah, it looks like it. Env dot path is what I used in the past. So $env dot Airtable API key. Sure. Also I need to like yeah. Anytime I write in API key or something in my terminal, I'm always scared that I'm accidentally going to show it. Waiting for party tone integration. Yeah, that's definitely not right. Oh well. Okay, that seems to work. So now article fetch endpoint. So we've got one. And I probably should have done this beforehand. I definitely didn't think about it until it was too late. But what can you do? So you're just looking at me question my life choices. I mean, I feel like that's half of programming, right? Is this feels like a good idea, and then you do the thing, and then you turns out decisions were made that might not have been a good idea. Okay, now I need to sign into GitHub, I guess, here. Itchy nose. I gotta say, the wildfires or whatever that were in Canada or something, I don't know. My allergies have not been great. Yeah, I don't know if you will, any y'all watching our fellow allergy enthusiasts, that there's lots of sarcasm laced there. I would love not to have allergies. It's such a bother. My calculations were correct, but damn, I'm bad at math. I mean, like in some ways too, it's just it doesn't make sense to okay, I definitely have a thing set there. This is going to be annoying to track down. All right, we are going to not include my draft articles for right now. That will be fine, because then we can just ignore that piece of it, and we'll come back to it. Because functionally it's the same type of content, and what I'm doing with this draft articles is downloading it basically. So if I just skip it for now, we can potentially come back to it, because I don't remember what my path is. So flip this back. The path is basically just like I've hosted them at an API endpoint in sort of a, not a generic way, but like a futzy way, and kind of security through obscurity, but also like it's already public because it's going on the website anyways. So like it doesn't need to be inherently secure, but whatever. Okay. So it appears to build and run. And this, let's go check it out. Localhost 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my goodness. Okay, I mean, I guess that makes sense because I don't have draft articles. So let's look at, I don't even remember where any of this is anymore. Content, config, collections, drafts. Okay, so that's where the collection comes in. Where's my error? In article. Pages article. We'll need the Astro plugin, or at least to turn it on here. Oh, yeah. Oh, how do you? Where's my control? Yeah, it's left. Okay, it must just be because I don't have highlighting on here. Okay. Sure. Save. Go. Reload potentially worked. And drafts is not editable. Where is this? In my index. And drafts shows up down here. Delete. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll deal with drafts later. Yeah, I mean, I'll attempt to deal with it later. Where else is this used? Drafts. Oh, here. Curated. Okay. We have a site. Let's I guess let's start updating it, and we'll kind of come back to dealing with those drafts. But Astro.js. Bam. All right. We can cross this off the list. Let's start upgrading Astro. It's on 5.9. I mean, honestly, what they've been doing with Astro is, I'm still generically happy with it, and I don't see any reason to change. I think they've got some neat migration guides. That's kind of nice. But honestly, like, I'm not keen on doing any of these other options. Yeah, and like the for this specific use case, the fact that it boils down to basically something without JavaScript is real nice. And honestly, like, I guess it's fine including React. I'm sure I could rip out some of this stuff though, which will make it smaller. I'm not terribly concerned about it though. It's fine. So like conceptually, they've got the idea of this, and I think, at least on the homepage, I think my footer is pulling in the JavaScript, which is effectively React. In theory, if I remove that, then all of my islands could be HTML. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Maybe. Am I going to deal with it right now? No. Okay. I guess we just go through and upgrade. We use a bunch of Markdown. Do they still support MDX? Like I had mentioned before, I'm kind of okay, honestly, removing MDX if it makes sense. They're still using Markdown remark in that example. And they do still have MDX here. So like it seems like they're still supporting or allowing MDX, which I would be okay switching off of MDX. But I do have some articles I think that are kind of like dependent on it. Like I've got this import here, which I kind of like doing, but also it potentially makes sense to do a different way. Basically, I've got like a JavaScript component, and then I import it through MDX into the actual article. Enable for the workspace. Okay. So some of these extensions I've got, I've got way too many extensions. A bunch of these I end up turning off, and just like at a global level, and then if I happen to be using it in this project, like MDX here, I could probably turn that off. Like if I do disable, and then I do enable, I can enable MDX just for this workspace, which is helpful because like I've got a whole bunch of Markdown ones. I probably don't need all of those. I want like indent rainbow is really nice. I like using it. This makes sense to have on at a global level in my mind. But like MDX, there's only a couple projects that I use MDX in. I don't need it on for everything. And then if I turn it off, the projects that aren't using it will end up effectively loading faster. Because like if you look at it, most of these aren't too bad. Like the loading of them, this little activation time, yeah. So this one took 47 milliseconds to activate. This one, not very fast. So like I could theoretically turn that off everywhere, but I actually do kind of use that one, I think. So there's a bunch of these that I might only need on when I'm doing the certain thing. Like here, this one I can. Well, actually, I'm gonna keep it on for this one. I'm gonna disable that one globally and then enable it for the workspace. Also, I think it's technically broken right now because it's still using the old parser, but separate issue. So I guess that's a hint. If you're into VS Code and their extensions, I'm only using Astro in this site, or at least probably only a couple repos that I'm working with end up using this. So I can just turn it on for the ones that I care about. Article. Potentially got some type errors here. We'll come back to that though. Upgrade Astro. So, we can try that. I'm actually okay running that. I've got some things, but also like it's not that off the wall as far as like it. I mean, I'm on React 18. 18 and 19 are relatively similar as far as like the ways that I use them. I have a feeling most of this other stuff is pretty straightforward. I do have Astro. What's Astro compress? Doesn't actually. Oh, is that somebody that I see here? Yeah. So I guess maybe I do some compression. It's been a hot minute since I looked at this. Let's run this upgrade script. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out the backside of it. Close. Stop. Yes. Go away. Go. Upgrade. Cross our fingers. Yeah. If I have it in integrations.astro config, I don't know that I do, honestly. I might have just forgot to turn it on. I mean, like, honestly, personal sites need some love too. Yeah. There's a reason that some packages have breaking changes. Sure. Okay. Follow the change logs. Sure, that makes sense. Yeah, get a couple extra downloads. Just the download suffice. Nice. That's kind of annoying. Please run the following command manually. Okay. I don't know that I'm using this party tone. Move scripts into a web worker in your Astro project. I mean, I guess it's fine. I suppose I'm okay with it. I don't have much for scripts, so I don't know how much of a difference it's actually going to make, but. So some of this is potentially going to be like weird dependency resolution type stuff. Found Astro in the root. Could not resolve this from Astro Analytics. Astro Analytics. What does this do? I don't know that I need this. And honestly, I don't remember how I set up. I've got what do I have in here? GitHub, prefetch, public. I honestly don't even remember how I'm doing analytics. I think I'm doing it kind of at the how am I doing it? I don't even see I think I've got my goodness, itchy nose. I think I have plausible wired up. Plausible is right. Plausible is a it's analytics, but done in a way that like respects what's the European thing? GDPR. Did I get the acronym right? Acronym right? GDPR. That sounds wrong, but it like it does the analytics in a way that is as anonymous as is reasonable. Because some like it's helpful to have some indication on like what resonates with people or what seems to be getting interest. But I don't need to like track at a personal level. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of that anyways. Like those cookie banner things that come up and like try to trick you into giving some like an okay for all the cookies. Yeah. All right. So we might just end up YOLOing a bunch of these. 8, 3 is fine. I don't know how the Tailwind thing is going to go. We have an integration. Yeah, I mean, like it bumped the version of Tailwind. I don't know that I'm doing too much with it though. It's probably pretty safe for me to honestly upgrade. 3.3.1. We'll go ahead and upgrade like this. I mean, we're probably gonna end up like running. We're probably gonna end up running this and then realizing that we made mistakes. Like the MDAST and remark and markdown MDX type stuff. I suspect that's going to be the place where we run into issues. I do actually have ESLint in here. I have ESLint in here. Interesting. Am I even using that anywhere? Lint. I mean, theoretically, I guess. Do I run it? I don't think I even run it anywhere. I might take it out. I don't know that I care about it right now, at least in this site. There is value in having this kind of stuff in here. I'm not saying don't use ESLint. I'm saying it is me working on it, and I don't see the value in just using it for myself. TypeScript ESLint plugins. I don't know that I need this. I do have a Lodash merge, which might be something we want to deal with, but that's not going to be a now thing. We'll bump to the latest. I have no idea again. Like it looks like I wasn't actually using it, so we might need to have a think about wiring that up. Sure. The rest of this stuff looks probably pretty good. Do I use this anywhere? I'm going to search. It shows up there. I don't think I use it, and I am going to just take it off right now. Can always put it back in. And I mean, while I'm at it, I'm probably going to upgrade. I think it's fine. Actually, no. We're not gonna do React right now. That I'm just a little bit worried that that's gonna be a rabbit hole. I have no idea how I use unpick either. Supposedly not at all. Okay, let's try it. Let's see how much regret I have. Could not resolve dependency. Tailwind CSS from Astro Tailwind. Okay, so Astro Tailwind is here. When was that last published? 2 months ago? It does look like it's like an official guide thing. Copy and paste. Okay. Tailwind CSS now offers a Vite plugin, which is the preferred way to use Tailwind 4 in Astro. Okay. And we'll delete that one then, I guess. npm I npm run Astro add tailwind. If you move to tailwind CSS v4, there's now a new way. Yep, that's what I'm finding, and it does not like that. Oh, interesting. Does it try to do a migration or something? To add tailwind v4 support. Oh. What is this doing? Why is it? Oh, yep. Okay. It is not liking this. Okay. Plugin VT is built. Astro found issues with your configuration. I mean, some of this is probably just because. Let's pin this. I did an upgrade, and I have a feeling that my config is potentially no longer valid. Do they have like a reference? Configuration reference? Okay. Experimental. Okay. I don't really care about. Is that what I was complaining about? Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Install the thing. Go for it. Sure. What is it saying? Oh, okay, sure. All right. So it did this. It inputted that. That works. All right. Now, if we do nrdev, I have a feeling things will be broken or might potentially have issues, but so it's sourcing their table stuff still. That's just a generic. Well, not a generic. It's like a warning because my TypeScript is off, which is fine. I mean, it'd be pretty cool if this just worked. Okay, it's doing stuff. Okay, it is loading stuff. That's something. What is? Okay, new Astro thing. It's kind of nifty. I assume I could just like turn this off too. Hide toolbar, yeah. I'm okay leaving it on for now. Go away. And all right, so if we go to like an article, it is loading stuff, but it's definitely CSS is an issue. So it's loaded that. It has done a new Vite plugins, and put it in the plugins list. I potentially have like breaking changes in Tailwind CSS itself. Let's go ahead and upgrade. Is there any more Tailwind? Tailwind is latest. Tailwind. I think aspect ratio potentially has gone away. And then we'll have to deal with that. Tailwind merge, Tailwind CSS. Okay. I think we go over to the Tailwind docs and we take a peek there. Compilation didn't work for me as well, so you just stuck with Tailwind v3. Yeah, that's, I mean, I think I've got v4 on another site. I do remember, vaguely remember of migrating. Tailwind upgrade. So I mean, there's no plugin, so I'm assuming that they're doing, yeah, if you're using V, you just do that. So, but like part of the big upgrade was it used to use post CSS, and now they are doing like I think they're using like the environment API with Vite. We don't have a direct dependency in Vite, which that comes from Astro. Like Astro is kind of just building on top of Vite. So like when I had to upgrade, a bunch of that work was just removing post CSS, I believe. So we have an at import Tailwind CSS, and now we're doing it. Now we're doing it in our config here. Import, yeah, okay. Do I like layouts? I honestly have no recollection how I did. Okay, so there's potentially some of these like V transitions is deprecated. Okay, so we might need to deal with that. This is like the root. It looks like I am doing a little bit of JavaScript inline here to do the dark mode stuff. Here, this is how I'm doing my analytics. I just have a script and relying on the API from Nullify to handle that script. Okay. Let us go back here. So add tailwind v4. So you do this, import the global CSS. I don't know that I need to do. Do I have like I don't even know that I have like a global CSS file. Oh, I do. Okay. It did it for me. Got it. And okay, so I'm missing this. And I think I can import it at like the root. Okay, so this is an Astro file. I think I can actually just do this. This feels a little awkward, but I think that'll work. I mean, this is something. I don't know that my prefers color scheme stuff is working. Okay. And that I believe is because they've switched how they do dark mode. It is a first class feature, blah, blah, blah. If you want dark mode, if you want your dark theme to be driven by a CSS selector, override the dark variant in your custom selector. So I think it is actually doing the prefers color scheme now. And I'm doing that a little bit. Okay. Yay, allergies. Okay. Toggling dark mode manually. I think I'm still okay doing dark mode manually because I have a um I've got a I've got the switcher. And I think I'm okay keeping the switcher. So like the idea here is you click this, you go back and forth between a very nice website, not allergies. Right. Um I think I'm okay keeping the switcher because I do think it's kind of nice. And like potentially we could do multiple additional themes. I am not at that place though. Uh, but I don't think we need to inherently rely on their dark mode. So I think if you want your dark theme to be driven by a CSS selector, now instead of dark utilities being applied in prefers color scheme, they will be applied whenever the dark class is present. Yeah. I think we just go with this. Drop that here. Custom variant. I don't know how to make it okay with that, but that's fine. So now that doesn't work. I do have a 404 in this. That's fine. It doesn't seem to be applying it to. Where do I have it? Okay, I'm applying it to the HTML. And if I do that little snippet, yeah, okay. So I've got a dark. It does appear to be switching the class appropriately. I don't see. Okay. So I think what's happening. I feel like there's a reference there that I'm missing. Jean d'Arc? I think I'm missing. I think I'm missing that reference. um, so it says use this custom variant. I think that's something that Tailwind supports. Joan of Arc. Oh, got it. Got it. With you now. Nice. I was like, it seems like you're doing something with Joan of Arc, but I was like, I'm not catching it. Okay, with system theme support. I mean, this is basically what I'm doing right now. Toggle on local storage, light theme, dark theme. There's a data theme. I'm fine with the class. custom variant. It feels like I've got this right, but I think potentially what's happening is that it is doing some CSS. I think it's doing some CSS handling for us. Oh, there's a theme. Interesting. The theme directive. Okay. We might end up having to look at some of this. I think most of what I've done with my CSS here is where do I have my CSS? I guess it's mostly in components. Yeah, article wrapper. Article. So like I've got text gray 500. BG primary 50. So I think that's all probably still fine. I think what it's doing though is it's culling my CSS. And I'm not seeing anything immediately that jumps out at me at how to resolve that. Okay. Let's go here. We might end up seeing something in this. We are doing tailwind styling. We are using this plugin. We have that. We have that. We effectively did that. Install the official Vite Tailwind plugin. So we're not directly using a Tailwind Vite integration, which is fine. I'm not terribly I don't know that I care too much about my CSS processing. I think what's happening though is I think it's doing a thing where it like detects or tries to figure out what CSS I'm using, or rather the classes that I'm using, and then transforming the final CSS file to give me only the pieces that I'm actually using, which cool and nice, but also this doesn't work then. So like this seems to work. It seems to switch. It seems to be setting the class appropriately. And that class is then appropriately set in my global CSS. Custom variant dark where that's at the HTML level. So everything downstream of that should work. Okay, let's double check here. It includes a dark variant that lets you style your site differently when dark mode is enabled. It could be that I've got like I'm not using the dark variables appropriately, or those have changed. So like that could be part of the breaking changes here. Header. Heading uses I mean, is anything changing? I guess that's a good question. So if I switch here, is anything changing? Like, it seems like it's the same CSS. Astro Island. So this is its own thing. Background primary 50. Dark background primary 900. Okay. So we are currently on dark mode now. This should be a styles. Layer theme. Flex position. So it might actually be this, right? So I say dark BG primary 900. Has that changed? That very well could have changed. Let us look at upgrade guide. Changes from V3. So no more. I mean, that's fine. We're importing that now. So in this case, we're doing like BG primary 900. Renamed utilities. Like, I don't think I'm doing too much as far as like CSS stuff goes. I mean, this is questionable. Like, I don't know that it's going to pre-process that correctly. But like, this is just as far as like it matters, I think that is static and shouldn't cause an issue. I don't think I've got anything really custom. Hover styles on mobile, pre-flight changes. Nothing's jumping out at me as like, this is clearly an issue. I mean, I could try this. Let's try that. Let's try stopping and we'll run this. So in theory, what I'm assuming this will do is it will, actually here, let's stage. I haven't done too much as far as changes go, but we'll stage that so we know what it actually ends up doing. I'm presuming what this is going to do is it's going to look at okay, well, that might be slightly annoying. I have a feeling what it's doing is it's looking and seeing Tailwind 4 and going, oh, I need to upgrade from V4. And I don't actually want to do that. I want to migrate from this. So if I do this, what is that going to do? Okay, it is not using what's in my package JSON. How does it see that version of Tailwind? Let's go for it. Okay. What'd you do? No more Tailwind config. Okay. Okay. Um, it moves stuff into a theme for me. Reasonable. Oh, okay. So I was using the theme, which set this primary. That's why the primary wasn't coming through, because I had this specific theme set up. I forgot about that. So it moved it into this, and then did this layer thing. I don't know. Yeah, this is a compatibility thing. I don't know that I care about this. We'll keep it for the moment, but I have a feeling I could probably just delete that. It changed a little bit of my classes. Not too much, so. Okay, that actually feels good. I think we're actually good with that. Let's do this. So it was the theme. I think, ultimately, I think what the issue was the theme stuff hadn't migrated yet. Bam, got it. All right. I think, we have things migrated, at least enough. We have to deal with the drafts. That's not going to be too big of a problem. I think that will still be fine, because it's functionally doing like the same thing that the recipes is doing. So like if my recipes work, that should be fine then. Copying this. What are you copying? My tail, like fixing Tailwind. The so like the only thing that I think we don't have working right now is the just bringing in more markdown. So as long as my other markdown stuff seems to be fine, I have a feeling that the rest of this will also be fine. You were unable to get it working for over a week. Yeah, so it looks like the effectively I needed to migrate my Tailwind config into the CSS file. Specifically, the theme was the bit that I hadn't addressed. It did add this custom variant. I don't know that I need the old one. So like if I do this, I assume this will still work. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Itchy. I mean, there's things I can work on as far as like styles go, and the yeah, I think there's potentially things I can do with like styles and like touch up and stuff, but I would say I would call this like good enough as far as migrations go. The next thing that I want to look at is here. Actually, we can do we'll do some separate commits here. What does this look like? Git ignore, that's fine. Fine. That's also probably fine. I don't want this, so I'm gonna take out this one because I do eventually want to fix that. We will unstage this. Golly, my nose is just Okay. I guess I can unstage all of this. I don't need any of that. We'll unstage this. So this is good. That's good. Okay. I think we're all good with that. Let's do a git checkout upgrade Astro v5 git commit. This is a spike the upgrade. We will do a separate commit to specifically fix the Tailwind config. Okay, Tailwinds. Those are Tailwind updates. Those are also Tailwind related updates. The big thing was running that migration because it handled a bunch of these like little, like ring 3. So it went from ring to ring 3. I'm guessing it's like a default. So it made like you have to be more explicit, which I'm okay with. But it did save me from having to go through and deal with those all myself. Okay, so I think I can remove this. I don't think I actually need that. So let's do this. Finish Tailwind migration. All right, and now what time we got? We got maybe we'll give it like 10 more minutes. I want to double check. We are using a handful of plugins. I want to make sure we are still using them if we want to continue using them. So we have React. That's fine. Sitemap. We have sitemap, and I am using sitemap. Okay. RSS. I'm not using RSS. So we will go into here. For some of these, I'm going to add a to-do because I think I will end up needing or wanting to do more with it. Add the RSS plugin, like the compression stuff. We'll want to look at that, but I also don't know that I need to continue, or I don't know that I want to try to set that up at the moment. Aspect ratio. Do I still need this is the question. I don't know that I'm actually using this aspect ratio anymore. Anywhere, rather. Aspect dash. Okay. Aspect. Okay. Do I still need that? It kind of looks like I don't. Let's do an npm I, npm run, npm run dev, and just double check. It looked like I was using it on the recipes page to specifically control this. Okay, so those aspect ratios look fine now. It looks like that's just part of it. So we don't need to include that anymore. Types, React, fine. Astro, sure. Astro icon. Oh, that's not where I wanted. Okay. All right. So Nate's got a specific integration here. Migrating to 1. Okay, so am I using Astro icon? I mean, some of these I might actually want to pull in eventually. Okay, so there's an Astro icon. I'm not actually using that. I'm going to just remove it for the time being. So like a bunch of these, I think I can remove for the time being. I might eventually need them again, but like Lodash merge, it doesn't seem like I'm actually using that anymore. So I'm going to just remove that. One less thing to think about as far as things going wrong. We'll do another install. Okay. And that, like, that's part of it too. Removed 67 packages. Less things to think about. This all seems good now. I think we might be good. Static path was fine. Okay, so that's a weird thing. Looks like I'm still using a class somewhere. So let's search for that. We'll fix that one real quick. Class equals. Okay, my picture. Okay. I think in the Astro layouts, those use normal classes. 404 MDX. I think this is also a normal class. So I think those are all fine. Which is slightly confusing, but you know. I don't actually have the interesting. I don't have an H1 on this one. Curious. Okay, so I think those are all good. Oh, that was just a comment. I will add the RSS plugin because I still kind of appreciate the idea, but all right, Party Town. Move scripts into a web worker. Well, let's take a look at that real quick. I like functionally I know what it is doing. We can take a peek at it real quick. But yeah, so it's if you were specifically doing like a JS or something, you can sort of like opt into this. So like here, I'm in this case, I'm pulling a script. So I could dump that in a worker. I don't actually see where I'm. Okay. It's pulling in their script. Okay. Okay, so that is just a script tag. I guess I can pull that in. So if I do script party town, that I mean, I've got a defer attribute on it already. No, honestly, I think I'm okay. I don't think I care about any of this other stuff. It's not heavy enough that I think it's going to make a difference where I need to dump it in a web worker. So we're just going to get rid of it. Let's double check on the iconify. I don't even know if I'm using that anymore. Iconify flat color icons. Reading time. I think reading time I'm still okay with. But actually, do I even use it anymore? I think I'm going to end up just deleting a bunch of these because I don't even know that I'm pulling it in anymore. We'll get rid of that. I don't think I'm pulling that in. I don't think I'm pulling in the iconify because I'm just using... Do I even have an icon lib in here anymore? Icon. Social icons. How do I get those? Icon. I've just got like rough SVG for everything. Okay, so that's all my social buttons. Yeah. I'm gonna rip all of that out. I don't think I'm using any of those. We'll open up your lib real quick here, Nicola. Oh, that's weird. Why does that come up in the search? Compress all of your CSS, HTML, SVG, JavaScript, JSON, and image files in the Astro outdoor folder. So we get sharp, SVGO, got a bunch of this. I don't think I will end up needing it for CSS. I might turn it on for... We got to figure out what to do with images. Because that, like there's a bit of a mismatch between stuff. I don't know, mismatch is the right word, but like this is just in the public directory. This like picture of me, which, you know, part of me still feels a little bit weird about it, but whatever. These, I think these are actually coming directly from Airtable, or they were. Image. Okay, no, it is actually processing them. Okay, so that might be yeah, it might actually be worth pulling in for the images in that specific case. Where did it go? Here we go. Okay, source, input, output, minute, add multiple paths, dist, compress. Yeah. I don't know that I've got SVGs in a good place or set up to where that will matter. And I mean, I guess I got a little bit of JavaScript that might be beneficial. I think if I pull it in, the big place I'd end up benefiting from would be the images. At least images insofar as like the ones that are coming from Astro, because they're being, it looks like they're being copied into here. So I get the images actually downloaded and pulled into here. So putting the Astro compress on there might be nice. We'll go ahead and I got it installed already, so let's just try checking this in there. We'll use the default. Is there first, then so this is play from compress. Astro add. Is that different from, is the new one? Ah, got it. Okay, so Astro compress needs to actually go away. delete, go. Nope, not R. Yes, go away. Stop. Astro, add playform compress. Oh, I thought I deleted that npx there. Okay, I guess I missed the npx. Plugin VTS build. Do I really have a plugin for ES build? Whatever. Okay. npm dev, and then I think that's probably going to end up being where we call it. I'll get this pushed up. We'll open it up as a PR. That should give me, I think, a pretty decently clean upgrade. And like these can use the compression anyways. So because like some of these are big images. I think it's already feeling pretty nice. There might be a couple deprecations. I'll double check on that, and we'll add the RSS plugin. I'm not gonna deal with that right now because it is time to call it a day. Thanks for stopping by, Nicola. It was cool pulling in a little bit of your effort. That the Playform package, that is. We'll probably just finish the rest of this off stream. I don't know if there's too much to go here, and we might end up starting to take a peek at some of the Tory stuff, Tory doc site and the state it's in, and potentially see where we're at with stuff there. I might do some of the like little upgrades and dealing with the docs site on stream. That feels like it might be useful. Do I have? No, I don't have my. And then we might just do some project streams here. I'll probably end up bouncing between some like Tory docs / issues potentially, if I could figure out like what makes sense to do on stream. And then I forgot to update my to-do list. Upgrade, including Tailwind. Bam. All right. So we will look at and potentially pull in some, like pull in as in like look at the on stream some of the Tori ecosystem issue project management, like planning type stuff potentially. If I can figure out what that looks like as far as like good content, what would be interesting to do on stream, because kind of keeping in mind like some of this is quasi entertainment. So me just like reading through issues isn't great for that. The struggle is what y'all come here for, right? Experimenting and playing around with some code and stuff, and figuring out and dealing with issues. Yeah, so like we can play around with some of that potentially if I can figure out what that looks like. Otherwise, we'll do the local first conference. I think was complete a week or two ago. Some of that might start, like that content might start coming up on the overall internet, and we can potentially look at some of that, or start to play around with a couple of the packages that were on our short list. Otherwwise, we'll do a little bit of project stuff, and we'll sort of like bounce between those three things for the at least the near future. With that being said, yeah, I mean, potentially Tory Doc stuff next week. Keep that in mind. So hit subscribe, do the follow or whatever, and look for that if that interests you. Have a great rest of your week otherwise, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.